welcome back to our channel. We decided to sit down and do a 2-week wait video. If you are trawling the internet trying to look for ways to survive the 2-week wait and you've come across our video, I would probably advise you to move on, because we didn't survive it in terms of we didn't do a very good job of being patient. We didn't do a very good job of not testing. We didn't do a good job of not being stressed out.
I don't know that we were too stressed.
Sheila did a good job of not being stressed. I was probably quite stressy. But we just thought we'd talk you through it. So we are at the end of our 2-week wait. We wanted to kind of film this before we got our results. So to kind of start you off into the week, we had our transfer on a Saturday and today is our HCG, which is a Tuesday. So we didn't even do a full 2-week wait. We did a 10-day wait.
10 days from transfer.
Yeah, so because we had a 5-day embryo, it wasn't even 2 weeks. Saturday was fine. We had a lovely day. We've recorded that. We've also...
I think the acupuncture maybe helped on Saturday. So I had acupuncture on the Saturday after the transfer, and in terms of kind of staying calm and being slightly zen-like, I think Saturday and Sunday I kind of did okay, to be honest.
I was all right on Saturday and Sunday. On Sunday I was a little bit like, I just had this whole, like, I knew we would test early. I knew it from forever. From the day we started talking about IVF, I
knew Jess would test early.
We'll get to that, but I just knew that would happen. So for me, I was really like, on Sunday I was like, yeah, but when will we test? Because I had asked, I think I said this in the video, I had asked the nurses, I was honest with the nurse when we were leaving, and I said, look, I am the type of person that will test early, like that's just how I am. Can you advise me on what day is it even possible to get a pregnancy test positive? And she was like, no, you won't get a positive until day 10. And I was like, okay, but I know lots of people test early and get positives. And she was like, no, you'll get a false positive. I just don't test at all until day 10. And I said, okay, but I'm going to test early. Like, is there any possibility of a positive? And she was like, no. So that really put me off. But on Sunday, I was buried deep in Instagram, like looking at like hashtag 1 day past, 5-day transfer, 2 days past, 5-day transfer, 3 days past. And I only got to about 3 days, but I could see that people were talking like, when are you going to test? When are you going to test? And I was really curious about that. The other thing that I realised on Sunday was that we can't get a false positive, because everyone who keeps saying, oh yeah, you get a false positive, are assuming that the same person is taking the trigger shot as is going on to test for the pregnancy. But in our case, I took the trigger shot.
And I'm going to be pregnant, hopefully.
So the trigger shot is the shot that contains HCG, which is the hormone that can give you a false read on your pregnancy test, because obviously the pregnancy test is looking to pick up the HCG hormone. So like, I could have probably got a positive test on day 2 or 3. Bless you.
Oh, excuse me.
But Sheila could not have got a false one. So on Sunday I realised that as well, which also started to stress me out.
Well, and that was my biggest... So when we talked about doing it, I was very much like, we'll wait till the Tuesday. It's only like a week and a half. It's fine. We can do this. But what I was worried about was this, I don't want to get a positive to then find out that it wasn't a positive and it was a false negative, a false positive, and it was actually negative, you know what I mean? That was my biggest fear with testing early. Yeah. So I think when you've discovered that that's not possible, that made, like, the drugs I was taking would not cause that to happen. Yeah. And therefore
it would just be negative. Yeah. And we weren't afraid of getting an early negative, because we knew we would get a negative early. Yeah. So I think once I realised, so that was, because on Saturday that's what was keeping me calm, was like, oh well, we have 4 or 5 days at an absolute minimum because we'll need to get rid of the medication out of our system. So when I realised that, then I was just like, okay, so we could technically test right now. And then that's when I started to work myself up. We both had really crazy long weeks ahead of us. Sheila's really busy with work. I was really busy wrapping up my job that I finished yesterday. So I know, thank God. But I was working towards finishing up my job. So, like, you know what it's like when you leave any job, like the last week is just torture. And I had thousands of things to do. So during the day I was working from home, and but the tests were all on the table. So if you are looking for tips to survive the 2-week wait, do not buy tests, or if you do, just don't leave them in your eye line, because I would like be immersed in work and then I would like sit back, take a sip of tea, and I would see the test and I would spiral all over again.
Lots of rabbit holes.
Yeah, just it was really bad. And then the other thing is to stay off Instagram, because by was it Tuesday morning, I had a full-blown breakdown. Like, I sobbed at breakfast. Like, it wasn't even long into the day. I couldn't cope. I was like, I think the will we won't we was stressing me out so much.
And we did get to that point when you're like, we just need to make a decision.
Yeah.
That this is the day we're going to test, and we'll test then. And then we kind of went, okay, we'll do that. And then we'd be like, yeah, but we can still change our minds.
Yeah.
Like, we kept giving ourselves that get out clause,
Yeah.
which then just added to the, but are we going to test now or not now? Or
The dogs are fighting behind us, play fighting.
which I think added to the stress. So again, I think if we had just made a decision, I don't know that we would have stuck to any decision we made, to be fair.
Not the first time round. And I think, yeah, like if you are looking for ways to kind of get through it, trying to find a way to like decide on a date, and just don't buy the test, and don't just like, there needs to be like a bottom line to it, which we just couldn't do. And I think because we were both processing at different times, because I already knew I really wanted to test, and Sheila was kind of catching up. So every time I was like, okay, like, because we had decided like, right, we won't test until Sunday. So the reason we came up with Sunday was today is our blood test. We've done the blood test this morning and we're waiting for the call.
So today's 10 days.
10 days past 5-day transfer. And because it's a Tuesday today, we were like, well, I'm not working today, but Sheila was working today. So we were like, well, we don't want to, if it's negative, we don't want to find out and then have to go back to work. We would like to have some heads up. Monday's similar. We're about, like, that was my last day of work, was yesterday. It was manic. So we were like, we'll test on Sunday, because that's as close to Tuesday as we can. It might give us an indication of what way it's going to go. So we had kind of decided that. And then we were like, oh, well, maybe we could test on Friday or Saturday and do a couple, and then that way, like, even if we get a negative and maybe a positive.
Well, I think we got to a point, didn't we, where we...
Stop.
I can't remember where we were in the week now, where we kind of said that we were... If it was going to show positive, it would most likely be like day 6.
Because that was my very scientific Instagram research, that most people hashtag 6DP5DT. That's when there was a lot of positives coming out, whereas like before then there wasn't really. So yeah, day 6 would have been like, what, Friday, yeah. So then we did that, and we were like, okay, Friday, and then Sheila was just starting, and then Sheila was like, well, we could test earlier, like, if you want to. And then I was like, like, all over again.
It's just really helpful.
But I think you were just catching up with where my brain was.
I very much hooked everything into, if we test early, the worst that can happen is it's negative, but then we can convince ourselves that it's only negative because it's early.
Yeah.
And I felt more emotionally able to deal
cope
with
that negative
than to wait until a day that we thought we were likely to get a positive and then to get a negative, because then I wouldn't be able to convince myself that it was just too early.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of playing in my brain a little bit as well.
Yeah. So
we tested early.
We did film it, and we will post those videos because we filmed multiple videos,
because we tested multiple times.
We started testing on Wednesday, and day 4, 4 days past 5-day transfer, and we tested right through until yesterday. So we have, I think, 3 videos, so that we won't put them in here because it'll make this video way too long, but we will put them up the same day, so there should be one to follow this. Do you want to talk a bit about symptoms, like you did?
Yeah, so I get my phone because I made some lists, but I find the symptoms funny because you second guess everything that your body is doing. Well, I did, certainly. So, oh, my finger hurts. Oh, I wonder if that's a symptom. Like, what? Like, but you do, like, everything.
That was her most common symptom, was that she hurt her thumb.
I did, this bit was really sore. It's not sore now, to be fair. It's kind of gone. But anyway, so we kind of made the decision that I would write it all down, regardless of whether or not it seemed like a pregnancy symptom, just really for information and for a record. So, like, I won't read out everything on the list, but, like, the biggest thing on the day of the transfer was I had a really sore head at night. It just was a really dull, achy, heavy head at night. And then the next day I woke up absolutely starving, like I was so hungry, wasn't I? Like hunger pains, like you wouldn't believe. That's the day that my thumb bit got really sore. It was a bit swollen. I was tired.
We all know that the first pregnancy symptom is a sore thumb.
Clearly, it should be documented.
It is documented.
I had a wee snooze on the couch in the afternoon. I had a wee cry later in the evening. I was a bit emotional.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of kind of cramps. And again, cramps not like period type cramps. Periody. No periody pains. You know, because I can get quite sore pains with a period. But it wasn't like that. It was just like this faint kind of something's different, or feeling a little bit tighter, and I find cramp a hard word because for me cramp is like and it wasn't like that, but it was the same type of pain. And then my right lower back was really sore. Now whether that's because I was standing up for too long or whether it was connected, who knows, but that was kind of the first day, and then that kind of continued. So second day my thumb was still sore, I was hungry, my back was still a bit sore. Third day my thumb was still sore. I took a notion to bake on the third day. I was absolutely starving and I really wanted something. I just wanted something to eat and I couldn't think of anything in the house that was going to satisfy me, so I baked some rock buns.
They were really good. I was just sitting at the table minding my own business, and next thing Sheila's like up banging around and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, baking. Like as if that was normal. As if like she said, I'm making a cup of tea. Like, and I'm like, what? You're doing what? Baking? I filmed her actually. I should put that clip in because you're so cute in it. Like, is spontaneous baking a symptom of pregnancy? Because if it is, we have good news.
No, just be silly. I just be hungry.
What are you making?
Rock cakes.
Why?
Actually, they're called rock buns in my house. Why? Because I'm hungry and I want something nice to eat. And there's nothing nice in this house.
How many times in our relationship have you spontaneously baked things?
Well, you say none and I say at least twice.
It's not. It's never. I'm quite excited to see how these turn out.
I don't think you'll like them, but that's okay because I'll have them.
She's just so sad. I'm so hungry.
I was so hungry. And there was literally nothing in the house I could think of. Like it was weird. And that was the only day that happened, but I just really wanted a rock bun. So I made some and they were yummy.
They were good.
Fourth day, I had really weird dreams overnight, really vivid dreams about mad things happening. Not baby related, just random mad.
Vivid. I like that you add E to things to make them your own.
It's when like I feel that the word doesn't quite meet what I need.
So
it's
vivid wasn't strong enough, so it had to be vivid.
No, vivid was too strong.
Oh.
So vivid made it softer.
Oh, but what about period? That's stronger or less strong?
Well, that's just more of a general thing. I don't know.
Is anybody else following?
Who wants me to explain my little made-up language?
Okay, so you had vivid dreams?
Vivid dreams, and I felt that was the first day I felt quite nauseous. So the fourth day I felt nauseous in the morning. That's actually one of the reasons I gave in to the test. Mm-hmm. So I thought, God, I feel a bit like sicky, and the idea of testing kind of appealed to me, just to see what was going on in my body, to understand if it was anything or not anything. Yeah. Fifth day, my back was still a wee bit sore, and again I had kind of light cramps at night. Sixth day, starving, woke up really hungry.
This is a theme. Like
hungry, nauseous, a bit weepy every now and again.
Yeah. Sore thumb.
Yeah. Sore thumb. And actually on the seventh day I've written, it's not my wrist that's sore, it's between my thumb and finger that are sore. That's when I realised where the pain was. It took me 7 days to work out, well not quite, it's 3 days to work it out. The eighth day is the day that when we're out walking.
Oh yeah.
I like when I said like I felt nauseous, I just felt a little bit like, not quite right. When we were out walking the dogs, I literally thought I was going to throw up. I stopped and I was just like,
I just love because she was walking behind me and all I heard was, I really can't wait for my Weetabix. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up. And I was like, what? And I turned around being like, I did not follow what that was. And she was just stood like this, like
it's that horrible feeling, you know, like when you've got a stomach bug or something, you just know, like here it comes. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but then, so again, like we were second guessing everything because
all of Chinese the night before.
Yeah, because I had a sore stomach as well. So then I was like, maybe it was the Chinese.
And I wasn't sick, by the way.
No,
Jess kind of talked me down a little bit and to swallow and to breathe, and then it passed, and then it didn't come back, and I haven't felt like that since. So who knows if it was food or I don't know.
Everything like was, you know, this could be a symptom, this could be your period, this could be like this could be a symptom of pregnancy, this could be a symptom of the medication. That
it's
like
quite nice to have the list to look back at with the things that I felt, but I still have no idea are any of them pregnancy related or not, or like even if it's a positive pregnancy test, none of this could be related to it. Like it's all so. Anyway, but that was kind of how I was feeling. We just kept a little note of it, which was quite fun. And thanks for asking, but my thumb's better now.
You already said it was better now.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh well, just in case you were wondering again.
I love. She would have argued with me if that wasn't on the camera and said she never. But I know I can go back and find it.
I'll watch it back to be sure. It's not sores now, to be fair. It's kind of gone. It's not sores now, to be fair. It's kind of gone. It's not sores now, to be fair. It's kind of gone.
I really hope I'm right now.
You are.
Anyway, so all in all, it was a very long 10 days.
We tried to keep busy.
We tried to keep it. Well, I was fairly busy and you were fairly busy with work.
Yeah, so daytimes weren't so bad.
Yeah,
it was more kind of the
evenings
evenings
and
we were sitting about and we were chatting about what about this and that. And
I started crocheting baby things. I got really carried away with myself. I know. I think so. I crochet a lot anyway, and I've crocheted loads of things for friends, for babies, and I needed a new project, and I was like, oh well, look, I'm just gonna make something, and if we end up one day having a baby, great, and if we don't, I'll gift it or I'll give it to charity or something. So I didn't get too attached to it, but it definitely kept me occupied a couple of nights. I'll put in a picture of it because it's quite cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, other than that, like, we didn't really do a lot. I got my period over the weekend for the first time in 7 years. So that was horrendous. That was the same day that Sheila almost threw up, day 8.
Yeah.
And we were out walking in the morning. The reason we were out walking was because I had such bad cramps, and I thought, like, I'll go for a little easy walk, and it wasn't easy. Like, we moseyed about, but between the two of us, I was like walking along like, ow, and I thought it was a dodgy Chinese. It never even dawned on me that I could be like cramps for a period because I haven't had one, and actually that sounds so stupid because obviously medication and all, but it just didn't dawn on either of us. So I was like hobbling
it was a
along.
Possibility, but when you said your stomach was sore,
I wasn't thinking cramps. So I'm holding my tummy, walking around, and she's like, I'm gonna throw up, and like we both came home, just like collapsed on the couch.
Do you know, like if anybody else had kind of witnessed that from outside, they'd have reckoned that we'd been out on some kind of bender the night before.
Definitely. We probably looked so hungover because and we were like proper wrapped up, like hobbling along, like feeling rotten.
Very sorry for ourselves.
Yeah, but the dogs were happy because they got out.
Yeah, they got a nice walk.
Don't say the W word.
But he's still sleeping. He's listening. But
he's listening to us. Yeah. So I don't know if any of that is useful.
No magic solutions for how to get through it. You'll find your own way through it, I'm sure. We just kept busy.
Stay off Instagram. Don't buy tests unless you really want to do it. And either way, just decide. Just decide if you're testing or not testing. Don't change your mind every day, because that was the worst part.
Yeah. And then wait and see.
Wait and see.
Keep everything crossed.
Yep. Try not second guess everything. Like, all these things are things we knew, but they don't help you.
No, and I think it's easy to say, oh, don't like make a decision. We tried to make a decision. We could
loads of times.
Stay off Instagram.
We tried to make a decision every day.
Because of the way that you look for information, you couldn't stay off Instagram.
No.
So I think you just actually need to be a little bit kind to yourself.
You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Get through the week in whatever way will keep you as fairly calm as possible.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I could say. Like, if you need to test to keep you calm, then test to keep calm. If you prefer not to test because it will stress you out to test, then don't test. Like, I think it is just about finding something to pass the time and keep you calm.
Yeah.
So
stay tuned to see our many pregnancy tests.
And wish us luck for a phone call later today.
Yeah, for our HCG beta.